Hey everybody, and welcome back to the latest in my series of trick videos. Today's is called the EA trick, and it's in honor of Buddy Holly, because as soon as you hear that riff, you can't help but to think of his classic tune, Not Fade Away, right? If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see a short version. To see the whole thing, head over to my website, Songbike, where you can find tons of videos not available on YouTube. Alright, so let's get right down to it. Let's do a quick review of an E major chord and an A major chord. Hopefully you're pretty familiar with those two chords, right? E major, middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, ring finger, 4th string, 2nd fret, index finger, 3rd string, 1st fret, and we're going to strum all 6 strings. Now the traditional A major, you know this one, right? Index finger, 4th string, 2nd fret, middle finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, ring finger, 2nd string, 2nd fret. And in general, we don't include the fat 6th E string when you strum an A major. Now, you could play this riff, this Buddy Holly inspired riff. You could play this with your traditional E and A chords. Maybe you already have. But the point is, we have a nice shortcut that can open some new doors for you. So what we're going to do now, we're going to keep the E major the way it is. But the trick today involves what I call collapsing your ring finger over. So essentially, you're doing a 1-finger A chord. Okay? My ring finger is putting all its pressure now at the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string, and it's putting a little pressure on the 1st string, but not enough so that the 1st string sounds like anything. Hear that? You can barely hear that 1st string, right? If you're coming at just the right angle, you'll hear the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd just fine, but the 1st string will essentially be dampened out. Now, you can also trust that your picking hand will be very careful and simply not strum the 1st string when you strum this A chord. But nevertheless, that's the trick for today. Well, this is the beginning of the trick. So we have the traditional E chord. When it's time to go to the A, you collapse over your ring finger, and essentially it acts as a bar, right? You could include the open A string, of course, and then the next 3. And like I said, it's up to you whether you want to either avoid strumming the 1st string altogether or angle your finger just right so you're simply muting out the 1st string and it sounds dead like that. So check this out. Okay, see what I'm doing there? Now, this may feel a little weird for you to collapse over that ring finger. So you're going to have to practice that a little bit. If you have naturally flexible fingers, hey, you're all set then. But if it feels weird, just give yourself some time. Where you locate your thumb may help. I can get away with having my thumb hanging out up here, but you might have to adjust where your thumb is. Okay? Bottom line is you have an instant A chord waiting for you right there. Okay? Now, let's get into some details. When I'm going quickly between E and A, I actually leave my middle finger down. If you go back and watch the very, very beginning of this video, you could see my middle finger actually didn't leave. Instead, I simply avoided strumming that 5th string. So if you know you're going from the A right back to the E anyways, rocking back and forth there, you don't necessarily have to abandon the fingers you had down for the E chord, See what I'm doing there? I'm trusting my right hand to be, to have good aim. Now, of course, like I said before, you could take everything off, but you don't have to, especially if it's a very quick E-A chord change. All right? Now, any questions? You good with that so far? All right? Now, in the next clip, we're going to talk about why the E-A chord change is significant, what it means, what it's called, what it's referred to as by songwriters, okay? And then in the clip after that, I'm going to show you how you can take this trick and make a lot more music all around the guitar with this E-A trick. All right, let's head over to the next clip. The E-A chord change is an example of a 1-4 chord change. Now we're going to talk about music theory for a second, but stick with me because this is going to be easy and also very practical, useful information. The premise here is that we're in the key of E, and that's an important thing to set right from the start. So we're in the key of E, therefore the E chord is known as the 1 chord, and the A chord is known as the 4 chord. Now why is A called the 4 chord? Here's why. Every time someone like me starts talking about music theory, sooner or later we start talking about major scales. And I'm going to get right to the E major scale. Of course, a scale is made up of individual notes. And today we're talking about chords, but stick with me. The E major scale, if I were to write out a nice E major scale, actually you can see it on the screen right there. We have E, F sharp, G sharp, A. A is the fourth note of an E major scale, okay? Take my word for it. So the E chord in this context gets nicknamed the 1 chord, and because the A note is the fourth note of an E major scale, the A chord gets nicknamed the 4 chord. That's all right? If E is 1, and that's a big if, but if E is 1, then A is 4. Is A always known as the 4 chord in every song that you're ever going to play the rest of your life? Nope. Only in the key of E. All right? So I'll say it one more time. In the key of E, E is the 1 chord, and A is known as the 4 chord. Doesn't matter how you play A. You can play it the traditional way or the way we're learning today. That's all. So we have a 1-4 chord change. Now the 1-4 chord change is one of the most common chord changes you're going to use in any song. Okay, the 1-4 chord change, right? You might have heard of songs that are 1-4-5s. Well, here we have the 1 and the 4 right here waiting for us, right? We have the E and the A. You've got 2 of those 3 chords. And by the way, there's about 1 million songs that are made up of only 3 chords. The 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. By the way, in this context, the 5 chord would be a B major. I like to play it as a B7 whenever possible. You know a B7 chord? You avoid the 6th string, middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, index finger, 4th string, 1st fret, ring finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string open, and then 1st string, 2nd fret with my pinky. There's your B7. So in this context, that would be my go-to way of playing the 5 chord. We have the E, the A, and the B7. Okay, so anyways, music theory. By the way, before we wrap up this clip, I want to let you know that I have a whole bunch of videos called Music Theory for Guitarists. You can watch a handful of them for free on YouTube, and the rest are available on my website, Songbike, right down there. Okay, so now you know why this is referred to as a 1-4 chord progression. And if you've heard of 1-4-5 songs, you know how common the 1-4 chord progression is. It's one of the most common things you're ever going to do. When you're strumming the 1 chord, it's extremely likely the next chord in the sequence is going to be the 4 chord. Okay, so now you have a little bit of the music theory knowledge behind those names. All right, so next comes taking this trick and moving it all over the guitar so you can use it in lots of keys way beyond the key of E. All right, YouTubers, I can't wait to show you how you can take this trick and move it around the guitar to play 1-4 chord changes in all different keys. So head on over to Songbike where you can see the rest of this video and access a lot of other great videos not available on YouTube. While you're here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I thank you for watching.